Welcome to the Teacher's Pep Rally. If you missed our last episode, we spoke with Jen Shirley, a parent and educator coach, sharing her expertise on building efficient systems that support student and teacher success. Check it out and learn how she models having critical conversations. While there, don't forget to leave us a review and happy listening. Our guest is formally trained as an educator, worked as a teacher for 18 years, with a master in education and master in management and leadership. Our guest has furthered her life's work of inspiring and educating by launching an empowerment education brand for women. Get ready to be inspired and expand your legacy. Please welcome to the Teacher's Pep Rally, Angela Tezeno.
Here.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much, friends.
We are so happy to have you. And Letitia, I feel like this is going to be the perfect guest for what we've been doing. Do you want to start and tell her about it?
I do. Welcome, Angela. We're so happy that you're here. So here at the Teacher's Pep Rally this season, we've decided to start something called Happy Happenings. And it's just an opportunity for all of us to really build intentionality around taking a notice at the good stuff that happens during our week. And it's our desire to not only share our positivity, but maybe even inspire our listeners to take notice and be intentional about celebrating the good stuff. So this is TPR's way of putting some love and light into the atmosphere. So we're going to start tonight with
All right, we're ready to go.
Your happy happening, sir?
All right, so this is a great week because it's the last week of the term, last week of the semester, and it's finals week. So, it's all coming to a head. I have grading right after we get off here. I go right into grading. But anyway, so many people know I have young people in college, and we weren't expecting them until my son until later the week. And it was the weirdest thing. My daughter's home. She came home last weekend. She's a senior. And all of a sudden I'm watching a movie and she's sitting over here behind me by our door, and I could hear people going in and out. And I'm thinking it's my wife, and I'm just sitting there watching the movie, totally oblivious. And then she says something, and I kind of sit up and I turn around, and there's my son sitting there. He wasn't supposed to be home for like 3 more days. He didn't tell. Only my daughter knew, but my wife and I didn't know. So he came home early, and it's a really good thing. First of all, it was funny just to see him sitting there the whole time. He was sitting there for 15 minutes and I didn't even know about it. But on top of it, because we have this big storm moving up our way, it's kind of a peace of mind thing too, because you know how it is. You never want anybody on the roads during these storms. So we're all home. Holidays are here. Finals are almost over. They're done. I'm not. And then once we hit that, boom, it's the holiday season. So it's good to go. So that's my happy happenings for this week. It's cool.
I love it. I bet you weren't expecting that. That is so awesome.
Not at all. It was funny. Awesome. It was the funniest thing in the world. I'm looking at him and going, what?
I love it. Son home from college. Happy happening. I love it.
Yes.
So guys, this week, and this may sound weird, but my happy happening is that I, just trying to get some things in order and looked for my teaching certificate, and the one I had on file was expired, and I almost panicked. Exactly. I was like, how did this happen? 2020. So I bit the bullet and called the Georgia Professional Standards Commission.
Oh boy, been trying to get through them all day today.
Okay, well, this is why this is my happy happening. Not only was my wait time less than 3 minutes, the person was very pleasant. And for those of you who cannot see, Angela is looking very surprised. Less than 3 minutes, pleasant person. And then she says to me, well, what's your certificate number? And I give her my number. And she says, oh, no, Ms. Jones, you're good till 2025.
Oh.
Wow. He was just really flabbergasted. I was like, can you feel my hug? Because I am hugging you for this phone right now. So, guys, 2020, the pandemic hit. I was still with the district, and apparently, they in their wisdom went ahead and took care of things and all of that, which is another, I guess, happy happening. But yeah, my happy happening is my amazing exchange. So shout outs
Good for you.
PSC. You still need to update your website because it's not user friendly. However, the service this week was awesome.
We'll edit that part out. That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't help it, guys.
Good for you. That's a heart stopper, right?
Yeah. I mean, I downloaded it. I'm just looking at it, just bonding, reconnecting with my certification. Yeah. So anyway, that was my happy happening. Erin, what you got for us this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the theme of Fred, of this being the last week, the crunch time, getting it done before the winter break. And, thought I had it all planned so it'd be smooth sailing. And that has not been the case. So my happy happening is that only 2 more days in winter break. So each day, don't want to rush my life, right? Like we're all good, lots of blessings, but each day gets closer to Friday at 4:00 is just a happy thought, happy happening.
I love it. It's the one moment where thinking ahead really is the game changer.
Correct. That is correct.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Well, Angela, we've saved the best for last. You got a happy happening for us?
I do. I do have one, but I think my happy happening is happening right now.
Oh, what?
Y'all
That's
are so awesome. I love hanging out with you already.
That's awesome.
But that's not the one I wanted to talk about. The one I really wanted to talk about, but this really is a happy happening for real. So I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I'm in the classroom this year. Was not expecting to be, but I am. And I'm a 5th grade teacher this year. And we had our holiday program last night. And so I sing to my students all the time. That is nothing new. But the music teacher this year asked me to share the stage and to sing a solo for the students.
Wow.
So yeah. So I had all my students there with me. I sing to them almost every day. I'm either singing like an off the cuff multiplication song, but singing is my jam. So I'm getting ready to sing, and I'm gonna get my tissue ready because I cried then. I'm probably gonna cry now. I'm getting ready to go up. They call my name, and then one of my little students, I won't say his name, I'll say his name is Bam, because his name rhymes with Bam. And so he's just the sweetest kid. He's still a 5th grader. If anybody's a teacher out there that understands what I mean when I say that, he really is still a 5th grader. So they call my name, and he looks up at me and he says, "All right, Miss Tezeno, it's your time to shine." Oh my God. And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, do I really have to grab the mic now? And he said it with such sincerity and such respect. And it reminded me in that moment, because I don't do it enough, but it reminded me in that moment that it really is okay to shine. It really is okay. So my 5th grade student reminded me of that right before I sang "I'll Be Home for Christmas."
Oh, is that what you're saying?
That's what I say.
So we are in the presence of greatness as singers. So I almost want to say you have to sing for us now. We'll let you go. We'll let you go. That's awesome.
Now we know for future episodes, you'll have to start with a little, and then Pete will be here. And so that'll be awesome because he's our music teacher. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Great.
For sharing your happy happening. I mean, we had family happy happenings, work happy happenings. And that's what it's all about. So again, to all of our listeners, we encourage you to try to start implementing some happy happenings in your life and watch things change. Well, Erin, I hand it back to you. Let's get this started.
All right. And Angela, you know what? I want to mention that our buddy Pete's not here with us for this conversation. He wishes he was, but he's actually doing a great thing. He's at his kids' school program tonight. So it's just 'tis the season, that time of year. So next time, we'll have to have you all do a duet.
Sounds good.
So let's get into this. You have a passion for business and business coaching, which all of us in this room right now can totally relate to and get really geeky about.
Yes.
But you're also, as you mentioned, you're a committed teacher. So can you share with us a little bit about your journey as a teacher?
Sure. So let me just lead with, I've known since third grade I'd be a teacher. Like third grade, I knew it was it for me. I was the nerdy kid that at the end of the school year asked the teacher to have all the stuff she was going to throw out because I knew like I was the only kid on the bus with a backpack full of things. Most kids on my bus didn't even have a backpack and they threw it away on the way to the bus. But I was the nerdy kid that actually wanted the teacher's things because my plan was to play school in the summer and I would, of course, be the teacher. So it's just a family business for us. My mom's a teacher, aunts are teachers, sisters are teachers. So that's just the legacy from my family. So I started that journey in 1998. And 7 years in, there was a shift. I began to unpack and unravel some things that I was learning about myself. And 7 years in 2007, I decided I would not be a career teacher, that I would venture out and become a businesswoman. And that was a lot for me to have to unpack because I felt like I was abandoning the family business and all the things that go along with being so very guilty about not being totally submerged and committed in the teaching profession. So I did, and in 2007, 7 years in, I left the classroom, wrote a book, and started a business. Oh. And I've been on that teacher businesswoman journey ever since. When I left in 2007, I was out for 7 years, trying to figure out what that journey looked like for me. And after 7 years, I went back for 3 years, left again for 3 years. And this is my third and last year back. And I promise I'll explain how that's possible. But this is my third and last year back. So that is my journey.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sorry, Fred, you were going to
No, go ahead. That's incredible, actually. Yeah, go ahead, Letitia.
And what is kind of going off in my head is I remember during my recruitment time and when I would talk with young teachers and get them in the district, for this generation of educators, that's where it's at. I mean, that's where their head is. Writing curriculum, blogging, just all these, becoming a principal in 2 years. Like that's where their thinking is. And I really want people to pay attention to what you're saying, that it is possible either way, right? You can be a career teacher, but guys, I don't know about you, but I've sat in on a slew of presentations that we're sitting there thinking, boy, I sure could deliver that a little different. Or,
believe me.
Okay, you wrote that book? Well, I have a few in my back pocket, right?
Sure.
And we all have, I think, teachers just are so creative. I mean, you shared singing, right? We have so many gifts and talents that I want tonight to be about encouraging teachers to do that as well, but with balance, right? And so, because teachers have so many gifts and talents, and no one teaches us how to kind of break the cycle that you did, right? Like, this is the family business, but the legacy can look different as well, right? So I know that you have developed this concept that I think is awesome called knowledge business. Knowledge business. So when you're talking about knowledge business, what is knowledge business?
Okay, this I get excited about. So I'm going to need y'all to be my calm because this is me without coffee. And it's 7:22 and I'm super excited to talk about this. So referring to teachers, there you go, Fred. Referring to teachers, it's very important to understand that if you are a teacher, you already have a wealth of knowledge and expertise built in just because of the nature of what you do. And so a knowledge business is taking that knowledge and that expertise, and you are literally giving it, providing it, trading it for profit. when you find your tribe, when you find your followers. So you are taking your knowledge and your expertise and you are trading it for profit in the form of a business. All you have to do is find your tribe, the followers who need what you have to offer, because you don't lack knowledge. Teachers don't lack expertise. They just need the guidance on how to trade that knowledge for profit, and it can be done. I am a living witness. I figured it out, and that's what I do now, teach teachers how to do that.
I love that. And you know, behind the scenes, you and I, Angela, have had extensive conversations about how teachers can actually do this.
Yes.
Right? I mean, our profession really is not built, I think. It's not built for this kind of thinking. That's why we really lose so many teachers, because within the school district, right, there aren't really a lot of leadership pathways.
Absolutely.
And you know, Eric could attest to that. My first job was exactly that, to work with the superintendent and strategy and innovation to figure out how can we create leadership pathways for teachers. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have to either leave the classroom or even the district. They only need but so many principals, but so many assistant principals. And if you're in a rural district or a smaller school district, you're in trouble, right? But this is why I think your voice is so critical now, because I think it provides teachers with options, ways to cultivate that passion, generate the income, still make an impact.
Yes.
And kind of have your cake and eat it too, I think.
I love how you brought out how business is just not built in education. It's just not. The only missing piece for educators becoming business owners is packaging it. The expertise is there, the knowledge is there, the expertness is there. The only missing link is knowing how to package it and trade it for profit. There's such a wide divide between educators and business owners. And let me tell you how, and you all know this is so true. Every teacher listening know this is so true. My biggest challenge when I stepped out of the classroom the first time was trying to make someone understand what I had to offer and showing them how easy it was for them to just give me their money for it. The reason why that was so difficult is because, now watch this, because this is so, it's amazing to me. I want you to wrap your head around this. In education, friends, we don't have to convince anybody to buy our product.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it is mandated by the United States of America that people show up and listen to what we have to say. Not only is it mandated, there is a repercussion if you don't. So I never had to worry about anybody buying into what I had to say, because if you didn't, you were going to jail, right? Right. You were going to have to face truancy issues. So we never, as teachers, we never have to convince anybody of anything. Our customer just shows up. And what's worse is that even if we don't have a good product, they still have to show up.
Yeah.
Even if we don't want to be there, they still have to show up. So as educators, we are literally spoiled rotten, knowing that it doesn't matter what I do or what I say, I own you, right? And we don't do that in an arrogant way. It is just built in our industry that we never have to convince anybody to do anything in terms of listening to what we have to say or buying into what we're doing. They are automatically there. As a business owner, that is not the case.
Yeah, so Angela, can you, I want to back up a little bit though. So
Sure.
you're 100% right, by the way. So the one thing I want to talk about though is that first wall. So you have this knowledge, you're a teacher. Are you familiar with the phrase, the curse of knowledge? So it feels like, I know something, I know something, but so does everybody else. So I don't really have anything to give to them. How do you begin to guide people to get through at least that hurdle, then to get to that next point of packaging up and then delivering it? What do you do to guide them there?
Well, first, you have to have a strong enough why. Why do I want to go into business? When your why is strong, it fuels every step of the way, every step of the process after that. But one of the things that needs to happen before the why is there has to be a perspective shift. So what I mean by that is most teachers, and y'all know this is true, we are trained ingrained in our brain to give things away.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It is, as a matter of fact, when you enter into the teaching profession, you automatically know you have a new family and whatever you need. How many teachers out there, when you start in the classroom and it's your first year, how many teachers out there are just overwhelmed with, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. You need a desk? I have extra desks. Hey, I got lesson plans already done. Don't worry about making copies. I'll make copies for you. You need to go to the restroom? I'll watch your kids. You can't go to school today. You can't find a sub. Let's just split the kids. It's just an inundation of, I will do this for you. I will do this for you. I will do this for you, because that's how we survive. I don't know if there's any other way education can work.
Right.
And so I'm not mad at that, because I need a teacher to do something for me every single day. And I would not want that to change. But when the educators become business owners, there has to be some kind of paradigm shift. Yeah. And knowing that it's okay that I don't give this to you.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Yep.
It's okay that you give me what I'm valued, right? It's okay that you pay me for what I'm giving you. How many of us have just given other teachers lesson plans that we've created?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's like goes without saying, right? You don't even question it.
We
And
don't question it.
I think it kind of goes back to how you kind of gave us this context about the customer is there, whether our product is good or bad. I mean, whether you're graduated top of your class or barely made it from Kellogg University, right? You're there with me making the same amount of money. There's no one questions that, right? And then you add this, give everything away. And to your point, Fred, then we begin to believe that what we have really
isn't a value. Right. Exactly.
It isn't valuable.
It isn't valuable. And I will tell you, Angela, since you mentioned this, I'll never forget, doing workshops. And, I will be honest, charging the appropriate amount is still hard for me. So anything other than free, I grapple with still to this day.
Yeah.
However,
pricing's always tough.
I never forget, I'm delivering this, I'm doing the workshop, and they've paid me handsomely. And a teacher says to me, this information has been so wonderful. Can I give you my email in the chat so that you could send this to me? And there was it seemed like an eternity, the pause. Sure. But because my business coach at the time, when she learned, and she's an attorney by trade, right? So, and trademark attorney. So she cannot even imagine giving anything without price, right? But anyway, her voice popped in my head. I am so glad that you found the information valuable. And unfortunately, I can't send this to you via email, but I can connect with your principal and they can hire me and bring me in.
Nice.
Needless to say, she didn't follow up with me, and I could tell on her face,
she
could not believe that I answered her that way.
And that is one of the things we just have to just change in our perspective, and it's just going to take time. It took me a long time to make sure that the right person showed up when it was time to clock in. So when I go to school tomorrow and the teacher needs my lesson plans, I am going to give them to her because that is the culture I'm in, and it's okay. But if I go to a workshop and my branded material is on the table, I am going to sell it.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I find that's the position I'm in, right? Depends on the role, the hat that I'm wearing that day.
Yes.
Like entrepreneur, I've got my entrepreneurship, my LLC I have, and then the other side of it is when I'm an educator in my school district.
Yes. Just be present in each role. Just be present.
And you can be really good at it. And I'm sitting here thinking about what you're saying, Angela, and there's so many teachers, educators that do have these skills to do these things, but they may not realize how really good they are at them.
Mhm.
And so I'm
Yes.
sitting here thinking about what are some of the things that maybe keep a teacher from going into that business mindset? Do you have like a list or a couple things, top 5 reasons maybe that keep teachers from pursuing a business passion?
I do, and I'll start with 5, and I'll go all the way down to 1.
Perfect.
top
We love
5
lists.
We like lists.
I love this. Okay, so starting with number 5, and then we'll go down to the number 1 reason. Is that fair?
That sounds great.
So starting with number 5, it's fear of success. The fear of success. Most people think that they have a fear of failure. Most teachers think that they have a fear of failure, and they don't. Let me tell you why. Teachers don't have a fear of failure. They're already too accomplished. Right? They've gone to college. They've gotten a teacher certificate. They've braved the what do I want to say, the tornado of the first year. I'm just saying. All right. Then they have to write lesson plans and do a parent-teacher conference and make sure classroom management is good and listen to what the principal has to say in an email that you probably shouldn't be reading because you're supposed to be teaching. We are the most accomplished people in the universe.
And
So we
on top of that, Angela, a lot of people have added certifications. Like I have my educational leadership.
Absolutely.
We have exceptional children. I have let
Yes.
me keep going with you.
Uh-huh.
Right? As I'm doing
Yes.
everything else,
Yes.
I've got all these added certifications.
Yes, ma'am. All day, every day, we get it done. So we don't fear of success. We don't fear failure, right? We don't even know what that looks like. The makeup of a teacher is we go in and we get it done. I would just put on the listening audience minds that teachers don't fear failure, but they fear success. And what I mean by that is when you are a teacher, you're a teacher because it's part of your purpose, right? It's part of, you know it's why you are here. And so there is a complex that I feel teachers have that if I succeed at this business, I'm abandoning my truest self. I'm abandoning the education system. What are they going to do without me? Right? I'm one of the good ones. If I leave, what's next? So they don't really want to go into something that they're going to succeed at because they feel like they're abandoning the true calling. And so I am just here to dispel that you are not abandoning the calling at all. What you're doing really, truly, when you go into business is that you're broadening. You're not abandoning, you are broadening because now you are able to influence and nurture and help achieve a bigger and broader audience because you're actually have more accessibility to you, right? I finally decided when I left in 2007 that I just cannot be contained in 4 walls of a classroom. I cannot. And I say that with all humility, I promise I am not an arrogant person. When I started unpacking my truest self and I started really just peeling back the layers of who I am really, like I truly do wake up like this without coffee.
Yeah.
You know what? You're better than a cup of coffee. I love what you just said about the 4 walls cannot contain me. That's a big thought.
And you know what else, Fred, is that I keep thinking, Angela, about we had him on here, our guest, Brian Collins, former Disney Imagineer, and he's always talking about cross-pollination, right? So he's from an Imagineering, even a military background, and now he's an educator. He's teaching at the University of Central Florida.
I love it.
So he talks about, and that's when I think about your trajectory, like you're ebbing and flowing in an education, that's okay because every time you come back or go out, you're cross-pollinating. You're bringing the educator self to the business world. And then when you're in education, you're bringing the business world to that, right?
Yes.
And all that's going to do is make everyone stronger because you're learning and look at things in a different perspective and a different light.
So
You so get me.
I asked this question in a different way. We had in a prior guest we're talking about leadership, and I asked the question to those who are formerly educated in education, as opposed to me. I play a teacher. I know my stuff, but I play a teacher. But I asked the question about leadership. Are young teachers in the education programs, 4-year programs, are they taught about leadership? So now I'm going to ask this next question is, do we teach our young teachers about the business of education? Because I will share that with my daughter in her program, they have a class dedicated the business of theater.
Wow.
And so they're preparing them already to say, you may not land specifically in the role that you think you're going to get, but you might have to do this other stuff on the side.
Sure.
And I kind of wonder, it kind of has an element of the feeling that certain tech companies that facilitate time or provide time to their employees to explore and tinker and do entrepreneurial activities while at work, because they see how it feeds back into their productivity on the other side. So it's a little self-serving.
Sure, Fred. Sure.
But it sounds like that's what we need to be giving permission to.
It's what we need, Fred, but I got to tell you, and I'm not here to ban my industry because I love education. Education is not ready for that. They're too territorial.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
They're just not ready.
Angela, you are so on it, because I remember when the district that I was a part of started to bring in people from other industries to lead. And it was a fight. I can't tell you how many times I heard education is not a business. We can't run this like a corporation, right? And so, and to me, it even impacts our principals, right? Again, when I was the recruiter, I would tell principals, do you think that a Starbucks, that a Nike would have this level of attrition for decades?
Wow.
For a decade, this level of attrition in a business, and no one is alarmed, no one is planning, no one is trying to change, because I think it goes back to what you said. We've been spoiled. In the past, teaching was a brand, and it was attractive. But it lost some of its luster. And so I would say to them all the time, even our principals are not taught about human resource management. And when I would train and coach future principals that were assistant principals that wanted to interview for that leadership, I would say, if you develop a rock solid recruitment plan, and present that at your principal interview, not only will you be different, because everybody does test scores. Everybody talks about how they're going to get the test scores up, right? And how they're going to address different learners, but no one talks about the rock star teacher that they need to carry that vision, right?
Or even being fiscally responsible, like your fiscal stewardship.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we just get into that. So, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that is why I have a truly successful business. Because, okay, let me tell you number 4 first, and then
Okay. Yeah.
So number 4, so if number 5 is fear of success, it's not fear of failure. The 4th reason is absence of a tribe. When a teacher is even thinking about business, the one thing that she says to herself, I can't do this because I'm alone, right? Here's why. When she goes to school and she's in the copy room and she starts talking about her dreams of running a business, everybody in the room is going to say, don't do it. Don't do it, friend. Don't do it. Right? So she doesn't have a tribe to support her and say, yes, this can be done. Because all her friends are teachers, right? All her friends, her whole tribe, her whole culture is teachers. She doesn't have a CEO that she can just call up, or a best friend who's in business. So the next thing that stops a teacher from really jumping into it all in is that she doesn't really think she has anybody to go along with her or with him, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, finances. Okay. Oh, I want to get into this so bad. Okay. So one of the things that I teach in my academy is that before you even think about deciding to go into business, you need your financial forecast to be rock solid. So here's what I mean by that. I just coached a lady who was in education. She loved being a teacher, but some kind of way she was downsized, surplus. That's the technical term. She was surplus, and she was subbing. That's how I met her. And she was like, I want to go into business. I heard that you were, in business. And I said, okay, let's go for coffee. So, and I just love her. So anyway, I said, the first thing I want to talk about is money. And she was like, but I thought we came to talk about business. I said, unless your personal finances are in order, you're not ready. You are not ready. So here is what I had to do the second or third time I left. No, the second or third time I went back. No, when I went back this last time, because it's been a journey. So, I'm totally transparent, so I don't mind saying it. When I left in 2007, I took $15,000 out of my teacher retirement. Listen to me, friends, don't do that. Am I in the mic? Am I in the mic? Am I in the mic?
I can hear you.
Don't do not. So I took $15,000 out of my retirement because I thought that I wanted that to be my seed money. Okay. But I didn't know enough about business to even call it seed money, because the seed money turned into, let me tell you something, honey. I had the best chair. I bought every Apple product you could buy. Because I thought business in my head was the things that my tool stack. So my tool stack was my business plan. Long story short, I learned so many lessons. So the money thing, that $15,000 did not last very long. I went back into teaching because I wanted to move from Louisiana to Georgia. Okay. So I went back into teaching to raise more money. Right. Even though I'm really good at teaching, but I needed capital. I need to raise more money. So I went back, I taught for 3 years, and that was my 3-year plan to move to Georgia. When I moved to Georgia, I left teaching again because I wanted to use the money that I raised to jumpstart my business again. All right. So, but this time I had a much better plan. So this is what I did. And this is what I teach my clients to do. Write down the money you need to survive. Okay. Write down the money you need to survive. If it's $1,000 a month, then you need to raise $12,000 before you leave. And that $12,000, it needs to be somewhere where you can't touch it. Because when you finally do leave, that $12,000 is your paycheck to yourself as if you never left education. So that's what I did. I raised the money I needed to leave, but I didn't just raise the money I needed to leave again. I raised the money that I needed to leave. I prepared the product I wanted to sell, and I positioned myself for what I needed to do in case I needed more money without having to go back to the classroom. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
All three of those things need to be in place before you decide to make a move.
Yep.
So when I sat with her in my preliminary pre-coaching, this is what you're going to get if you start paying me, call coffee.
Right.
I'll give you a sip, but
not the whole cup.
Not the whole cup.
Yeah, practice what you preach, Angela.
Absolutely, I do. So we sat, and because I wanted it to be real. So long story short, she became a client, and now she's in her transition year. What I mean by that is she knows how much she needs to leave. She's putting that away as she goes through the school year. She's already positioned herself for what she wants to do in case she has to work for money after she leaves this school year, and she's working on her current product. And I told her, you're not allowed to submit your resignation unless all three of those things are in place. Because if they're not, you're not ready.
That's right.
What are you going to sell? Who are you going to sell it to? Why do they want it?
And that's okay.
Right?
That's okay, right? It's okay to move your
It's
goal.
totally okay.
Yeah, your timeline is fine. It's your own. That's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And here's the thing. And I told her, I said, here's what you need to know for sure. When it's supposed to happen, when it's time to happen, it will happen. Let's say, for instance, you get to the end of the school year and all 4 of your tires went out and you needed $12,000 because you know you needed $12,000 and you had to spend $2,000 of it on tires. And now you're down to 10. If you don't get that other 2 by the end of the school year, sign a new contract. You're not ready.
That's right.
And it's okay. But you got to own the process, right? I need you to own the process. So can I just say this real quick? So I did everything I'm telling you I told my client to do. I had my money ready. I had all I needed for the year. I had it ready to go. I had my product was finished. Everything was finished. Website, product, social media, all of it. And I had 3 different options of what I was going to do, just in case I needed to make, work for hire. But I knew it couldn't be education because my business was growing to the point to where, and I hope we get into that, my business was growing to the point to where I could not have space for both, not realistically. So it is April. I said, I did it. It's time to go. I got every parameter in place and I put in my resignation with my school district. Okay. Resignation done. At the end of May, my car was packed. Like classroom taken down. I was so super excited. End of May, I'm taking a shower and I literally hear with an audible voice, it's not time. And I was like, but Jesus, we talked about this already. What you mean? Like I submitted my resignation. It is done. Please don't make me go back. So I grappled with it. And I just couldn't shake it. It's just that feeling you have, that feeling when you know you need to do something and you just really need to do it. And so end of the school year, I called my principal and I said, you're not going to believe this, but I don't think I can leave yet. I think I need to stay. And she was like, okay, well, I was teaching 2nd grade at the time. This was last school year. And she said, well, I filled your position. And I said, okay. And then she says, but I have a 5th grade. And I was like, okay. Okay. So I said, well, what does that look like? And she said to me in this verse, she says, what do you want it to look like? And I was like, oh, okay. So I got options. So long story short, I took the position. I am in this current position now. I'm still working on my 3-part plan. I'll have double what I needed before because I never took it away from myself, right? But here's what I know for sure. I'm back for a reason. I checked all the boxes. I did everything I was supposed to do, but I'm still back. And here's what I think it is. And you can help me. Somebody help me with this because I may not be right. Here's what I think it is. I think that being back this one more year proves my concept, right? It really, truly proves that what I say I can do for you, I can really do it for you. But for you, for you, I mean my customers, right? Because I can say I was there my last year, even though I didn't have to be, right? I went back for a reason. And so all of these conversations that I'm having this year, and I'm meeting more people, I'm on the Pep Rally for Teachers podcast.
That's right.
Come on.
And I think personally, BAM just needed to see you in your light. BAM needed you.
Right.
BAM needed you.
BAM needed you.
Oh wow, that's a neat way to look at it too.
No,
Yeah.
it's me and BAM.
Yeah,
Right?
it's you and BAM.
It's all about BAM. It's me and BAM.
Yeah.
Right.
And wait, I got to get the rest of your 5.
Yes, we're on 2. We're on 2.
Yeah. So
right.
I've got so far the 5 reasons why teachers, and I want to put out this out here. I think that we've opened this platform obviously because we love the education world, but if it's not the space for someone or they have other wishes or goals, whatever, we're here to support that. But Angela, I also think because there's some of us here that we're doing both right now. Doesn't mean we won't change and go fully over to one or the other, but it's okay too for teachers to look into doing both, right? If it fits their plan, their time, whatever it may be.
As a matter of fact, in my academy, I teach this plan, whether you want to leave teaching or stay, and here's why. Here is why the caveat is so necessary, because legacy wealth is not built in to a teacher's salary. Let me say that again.
Yeah,
legacy wealth.
A little louder.
Yes.
Let me get in my mic. Legacy wealth is not built in a teacher's salary.
No, what do you mean by legacy wealth, though?
Legacy wealth is the money that you put aside for your grandchildren's children
Gotcha.
in a trust,
Mhm.
in a will.
Right.
Legacy wealth is buying a building and set up your great-great-grandchildren so that they could take over some kind of business or some kind of nonprofit or some kind of mission, right? Legacy wealth is not built into our salaries. So that's why in my academy, I teach this plan is for you, whether you want to leave teaching or stay. Because even if you don't want to start a business, you need to at least do something to create your legacy wealth.
Oh, wow.
So I teach both ends. The only reason I'm a proponent for business is because you get there so much faster.
Yeah.
And you know, Erin, I love that you kind of added our feeling around, you know, everybody has a path, right? Whether you stay or go. And what I want to add to that is sometimes we forget this, but there is a pillar of self-care called professional career self-care. So even if you develop a business and stay in the classroom, I'm telling you, if you get this thing right, you will feel better. Your kids will have a better you because you are cultivating and nurturing all of you as a human being and bringing that to the table. So the problem is we don't know boundaries and we don't know how to balance it. But once we get those tools, I think a teacher that is maximizing all of who he or she is becomes a better educator, mom, dad, citizen, period. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So I did that.
Yeah, I love though the fact how you bring that up too about that finance piece, because you're right. If you blow it into that one direction, you're creating a very large nugget in your way to have that legacy or that business financing. It's never going to happen. So that sequencing is key. That's so key. And I think you're right. I've known so many business. I've even made that mistake. It's where you kind of like, oh, I just get this, I get this, because I need all these things. And really, you know, if you don't have, I love what he said about my tools are not my business plan. You know, that's exactly what it is, though. You know, I mean, that's important advice for anybody listening.
And something education maybe needs to adopt.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
number
fear
two.
Fear of success, absence of a tribe, no financial forecast. Number 2 is no plan. No plan. Most teachers who want to go into business have a vision map, right? So they have this building that they're going to buy and this product that they're going to launch. And so that's a vision map, right? But a vision map is not sufficient if you don't have a plan to go with everything on your map, right? So get all the pictures you want to get, download them from Google, put the pictures on a poster board. I'm all for it. But just looking at those pictures is not going to get you anywhere. Every picture you post on your vision plan needs to have a succinct step-by-step plan on how you're going to get what that picture says. And then the number one reason that teachers have a pause from going into a business, and I stated it already, is because they don't have a strong enough why. They don't have a strong enough why. You got to find your why. Your why can look different. Everybody's why is going to look different. I want to go into business because I know that I'm never going to make enough money to send my children to college debt-free. I want to go into business because I feel trapped and I can't no longer deal with the 3 B's. Do I know what the 3 B's are of education?
What?
Want to know what they are?
Yeah.
Beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. No, sorry. That's the military.
Actually, that's pretty good, Fred.
That's logistics. Sorry. Aaron's looking at me like, what are you crazy? Yeah, that's a logistics.
It's totally okay. It's bureaucracy, burnout, and backlash. Bureaucracy, burnout, and backlash. Those are the 3 things that we have to get over every single day. And I mean, we've all been educators for a very long time. We get over it, right? It's one of the things that's in education. And I'm not here to bash my industry. I love education, but it's something that we have to deal with. And so That may be your why. My why is so strong, and I'm just going to say this really briefly because I can go forever. Because I moved from Louisiana to Georgia and I took out $15,000 of my teacher retirement, right? When you take out your teacher retirement, the only way you can get it back for retirement is if you buy it back.
Yeah.
So I am not in favor of giving the state of Georgia all the money I have for them to give it to me proportionately when I'm 62. And it'd be less than what I gave them. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Because that's what's going to happen. Here's what's real for me. Here's my why. Even though I've been in education 18 years, I don't have enough money to retire. I don't have enough time to retire by the time I'm 62. Here's why. You have, in the state of Georgia, you have to teach 10 years to get retirement. I'm year 4 in Georgia.
Right.
I'm not going 6 more years, right? And even if I do, I won't be 62, right? I'm just 50. So at 56, I'm still nowhere. I would have to teach until I'm almost 80 to get a portion. No. You don't understand. I have to teach for a very, very long time to get a fraction of what I'm already getting.
Right.
I've done the math. I've called the TRS. I've talked to every person I could talk to. I've done the calculator because I wanted to know how real this is for me. My why is super strong.
That's a strong why. That's a strong why. So,
and here's the thing. When I was growing up, like my 6th grade teacher, my 6th grade teacher was also my student teacher. So I taught under. And you know, she was my student teacher, right? I hope everybody understands what that means. When I was student teacher, she was my person.
she was your mentor.
Okay.
Yes, I was trying to find the word. I couldn't find it. Thank you so much. All right. So what does that mean? It means that back in the day when we started, teachers were in it forever, right?
Right.
My 6th grade teacher was my mentor. Now teachers are transient. So most teachers are in my position.
Right.
If they go from state to state, they're going to be in the same boat.
Yeah.
And the other half of those teachers who have stayed in the system, they don't last very long. As a matter of fact, I forgot the percentage, but there's a certain percentage of teachers that leave in the first 5 years. Right? So I created a need, and there it is. But you got to find your why. I have my why, but you got to find your why. And that's the number one reason that teachers don't go into business, because their why is not strong enough. For most teachers, they think, oh, that's a good idea. I'll try that. That's not going to get it.
No.
You have to have a strong enough why. Find your why.
Yeah.
Find your why.
So I'm curious, Angela,
Yes.
growing up, is there a teacher, a mentor, a coach, someone that inspired you or that you kind of feel like part of who you are today maybe came from something you observed from them? We love this part because we get to hear these stories.
Oh my gosh. So I have 2 people in mind, 3 people in mind. My parents, my mother and my father. I always tell people that my mom taught me virtue, but my dad taught me my value. And that will take a girl in this world a very long way, right? When you understand your value. My mom, she was all 3 for me. She was my mentor. She was my teacher. She was everything to me. She cultivated the person that she knew I was going to become. So she didn't parent the Angela she saw in the moment. She didn't parent, because there's a difference between parenting and cultivating, right? So she didn't parent me and say, don't do this, don't do that, do that. That's more parenting, I think. She cultivated the me that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And that, like, I am a product of that, right? It was the cultivation. It was because I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to go. And she said, let's go for a ride, right? And we ended up at my college and she registered me.
Yes.
So She cultivated who I am. In every decision she made, I didn't have very high self-esteem. I wasn't a talker. I took all my pictures with my head down. Like I was on a path of not knowing who I am, even though my dad taught me my value. I hadn't met her yet, right? I hadn't met Angela yet.
Right.
And everything she did, everything she said was her introduction to me.
She sounds amazing. And then there was a third person, I think you said, right?
My third grade teacher.
Who was your third grade teacher?
Miss Rito. Miss Rito was my hero. Like she let me go to get her Coke because she had a Coke every day. She let me go get her Coke from the Coke machine, right? And that was every day. It is what I look forward to. It was like, you see me, right? Because I was quiet, right? And she saw me and she made me be accomplished. That was my big accomplishment for that day because I struggled, right? And I knew I wanted to be the teacher that I needed. I wanted to be a teacher like her.
That's amazing. I love it. Well, this is the part where we could keep talking to you forever and ever, but at this time, I'm really excited about, I always love to hear the takeaways from everyone, but this conversation, I'm really, really curious. I want to be curious in this. So we're going to each kind of give you like our inspiration or something we're taking away from this conversation that we've just had, and then use our guests kind of get the last word of it. Does that sound okay?
I love that. Go for it.
Who should I call on first? Fred?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. So there is a lot here. Angela, I love your energy. I love your confidence. In and out, you're making it happen, and you're an example for anybody that's going down the path or getting ready to go down the path. But more importantly, I think the big takeaway for me is an undercurrent, a theme, and that is it's okay to shine. I think it's that ability to just say, I have something to give you. And I'm going to give it to not only my students, I'm going to give it to everybody who wants to take it. And I'm going to make good on it. And I'm going to have a plan and I'm going to move it forward. I love that. And I think that's a side note. As I said before, I like that concept, that comment about, because I facilitate entrepreneurship for some people we bring in, and it's that, your tools are not your business plan. And I've seen that happen so many times. But that's a really, really important subtle lesson. But thanks for those top five. I could have easily picked one of those. So, but I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Wow. As Angela was talking about the spending, I'm working with an accountant after my third interview. I found someone I think I can land with, and just loading up my receipts and seeing the stuff that I bought the first year.
We're all guilty of that.
Really? Well, it's that. I don't even know where that thing is. I love it. And we normally try to give a different quote, but I'm just going to reiterate that it's okay to shine. Wow. I had a principal say that to me many, many, many years ago. And it seeped so deep into my spirit that it's like the next year I became teacher of the year. And so I just, and Michelle Obama, I saw her recently, and that's her whole book, right? That we all have a light to shine. So I think that's the theme. And I'm just going to piggyback on that it's okay to shine. And the beauty for all of our teacher friends out there is that just as much as we have to give to our kids, they have some things that they can give us if we're open and receptive. So the fact that you even received BAM's words of encouragement is a testament to who you are. So yes, it's okay to shine.
That's great. And the same, I could pull so many things from this conversation. When you were going through the list of 5 reasons why teachers may tend to not pursue an outside passion, whether it's business or not, number 5 is fear of success. And it reminded me of a poem that I haven't thought of in a long time. And so I pulled it up. It's Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson.
Mhm.
If you're familiar with, so I just want to
Yes.
read the first stanza because I feel like, Angela, this is kind of like what you've been saying, and it goes back again to that idea of shining a light.
I
And so
love
she
it.
says in the first stanza, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
Mm.
So I just feel like that just kind of was the
Yes.
underlining theme to me. And I appreciate you being here and talking with us. And as our guest, if there's any last thoughts you have or inspiration from this conversation with us, feel free to add.
I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude for being part of your wonderful podcast. I mean, to share a space with y'all is just amazing. I see your passion and I love what you're doing. And for all the listeners out there, keep listening because this is really good stuff.
Thank you.
I appreciate the invite, and I want to tell everybody I know about the podcast because y'all are amazing. It was such a pleasure to meet both of you. And I mean, oh my gosh, what can I say about Miss Jones? Come on.
Yeah, she's our girl.
Oh my gosh. I would just end with a quote, and it goes along with what you all said. And I would just tell every teacher listening out there that it is never too late to be who you might have been.
Mm.
Beautiful. That really encompasses you, I feel like. Thank you so much. And Angela, if our listeners want to reach out to you and talk to you more about this, where can they find you?
Awesome. So all social media platforms, I'm the Angela Tezeno, TheAngela, TEZ like zebra, ENO, the Angela Tezeno. And my academy is called Teacher Tycoon. We teach teachers how to grow legacy wealth through business. So you can go to teachertycoon.com, angelatezeno.com will take you to the same website. And I'm looking forward to connecting with as many people as I can. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely. And Fred, Pete's not here, so I'm going to just throw this to you. I didn't even prepare you, but where can our listeners find us?
Well, they could find us here. That would be the podcast. No,
We're always hanging out in Zoom. So if you just pop in at any time, we'll
have open office hours. You can find us on our website, www.teacherpeprally.com, where you can then launch out to your favorite podcast player or your favorite podcast platform. You can also find us on Facebook, the Teacher Pep Rally, and also on Instagram, Teachers Pep Rally. So you could find us. We're all over the place. And please leave a rating, a review for the podcast. That's I think the best review you can give is a 5-star review. That would be great. And then a little comment about what you'd like to hear more of or what you liked and what we covered. So we're everywhere, but thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Angela, thank you again so much for being here. We appreciate you. We see your light, and we hope you have a safe and happy holiday.
Awesome.
Thank y'all so much. Bye, friends.
Bye.